Okay. Today, we're talking to Emma Draper. She is founder of. You got you got kind of a portfolio business thing going on, haven't you? Because you got
Yeah,
Velvet sort of
I've
the
got
shop and Velvet property. So
yes,
multi potentialite entrepreneur,
yes.
mother, new uh, cult member of the Happy Startup School.
You said help. I didn't.
But yeah, no. Having come, we met at altitude. Actually, we met previously. Our kids used to play football together, and then serendipitously, it came about that
Yeah.
altitude was on Emma's radar. She joined us in this year in the Alps, and we got to know her well and learned more about her journey and the things that she's trying to do right now. So through getting to know her, understanding her story, we thought it'd be a really valuable conversation to have, particularly for if you're a female entrepreneur, particularly if you're a female entrepreneur who's a mother, you're kind of balancing this idea of having a career, having kids, and being a
Mhm.
caring partner, thinking that, well, wanting to have it all, but realizing it isn't so easy. What that means, what that means just broadly, and we might have some conversations around what it means to be a female entrepreneur, what it means to be an entrepreneur full stop, and we might talk. I'd like to talk a little bit about business and how you think about your business, and also think about talk about a bit more about your own personal journey of business and what that meant in terms of how you've
Mhm.
changed and grown, and also how you lead. So a lot of little things. And for those of you who are joining now, we'd love to hear your questions. We'd like to have our conversation guided by you, not just purely what we want to hear from Emma. We'd also want to hear what you want to hear from Emma as well. So we'd love to hear about that. So to kick off, what maybe just give us a description of how you describe what you do now, Emma,
Okay.
and maybe a little bit of how you got started, and then we'll
Okay.
go from there.
Okay. So right now I have two active businesses. One is Velvet, which is a store in Hove. It's a big store, it's 3,000 square foot. It takes 16 people to run it. It's busy and I love it. I absolutely love it. It's my deep passion. And yes, 23 years old. So that's exciting. So that takes up quite a lot of my time, but I have now a management team of 4 who do everything really. They're amazing. They've grown within the business, so they're running it. I'm overseeing it now, so that's nice. And from the proceeds and profits of that business, I've rebuilt my second time. I've rebuilt my property business and I have a portfolio of properties which I manage and let out. And they're very nice properties. And I'm a nice landlady. I put customer service back into being a landlady and make sure my tenants are very happy. So those are two things. I do a little bit of investing as well in sort of very easy stocks and shares and a few angel investments. I've invested in other companies doing angel investing. So I'm quite busy. A single mum, 3 boys. Do have a lovely boyfriend though, so I have to say that. Yes, so they're getting on a bit now. They're not young anymore, so 14, 17, and nearly 21. So they keep me busy. So that's where I'm at now. And I've discovered the Happy Startup company. So that happened with Altitude because why did I find you guys? It was definitely this was the year to find you. I think this is my year of exploration, coming out of head down, work really hard, look after my family. It's time to what's going on out there? And you guys are really helping with this. How did I start? That's going back quite a long time. I have always been entrepreneurial. At uni, for example, I probably one of the only people that left uni with quite a lot of money because I used to put on fashion events for the fashion students and get sponsorship. And I suddenly realised, oh, well, that's nice. I'm earning good money here and having lots of fun. So I've always been that way inclined. My parents were, I have to be honest. And then I went to work in marketing and PR in London in the city, thinking, oh, I'm never going to have shops, I'm never going to do retail. My parents did. And of course it happened. It was in my blood. And as soon as I was opened a shop in 2000, teeny weeny little shop in the lanes in Brighton, I knew within the first day, this is it. This is what I do. This is what I love. I love people. I love buying for women. I just loved it. And that was 23 years ago.
Wow.
And I've just signed a lease for another 10 years on the building in Church Road.
Wow.
So we carry on.
Can you remember the date when you set up the first shop?
20th of November.
Okay.
Weekend, 2000.
Wow.
And
Wow.
we were sold out by 3 days later. We had a little queue down the street, Gardner Street, because if you remember the North Lanes in 2000, all you could buy was dream catchers, really shit trousers, and incense. And having worked in London and the city, I didn't want that stuff. I wanted nice stuff, you know, maybe a little bit glamorous stuff at really good prices. That was the idea behind the business, and still is. That hasn't changed.
And so one of the things that we're curious about with this idea of starting a business is that how it connects to, we talk about needs. You know, I think you'd like to think about passion and things that you love. And one of the reasons that we started the Happy Startup School is because it was something we wanted for ourselves. Is there a similar kind of story in terms of the start of your business? You said retail's in your blood, but there was something about loving the work, loving the customers, loving what they wanted to get.
Yeah, well, I feel like I just understand women, and I've always been fascinated by women and what they wear and how they present themselves. I can't walk down the street. I drive every mile without looking exactly what women are doing, what they're wearing. It's an obsession. Don't feel worried, friends. I'm not judging. I'm just nosy. So I think that was the thing. When I'd come to Brighton, I couldn't get the things I wanted, and I was like, "Wow!" Those days, even the supermarkets didn't sell gifts or handbags or anything that I might have wanted to buy. I think it was Debenhams or Harrington's, whatever it was called. You just couldn't. So I thought, there's a need here. There's a need for me. And thank goodness an awful lot of people thought the same. And men, because they came in the store, and they still do. We have loads of male customers who buy presents and gifts. So it was definitely from a want and a need. And
so you basically gave Brighton a glow up, basically.
Glow up, absolute glow up. And I still try and do that. I have to say.
I think we're still work in progress. You got some work to do.
Yeah. Well, maybe with you, Lawrence. Yeah.
Wait till tonight. That's what I can say.
Ooh, all right, now he's built up the expectations.
I can't compete with Carlos. I think you know that.
Well, you get the secrets out.
I'm curious about, you know, you're talking about clothing and women and just, you know, there's something about that is beyond just the looking pretty. Is there something here about?
100%. I always can see that we left. Our ethos is the best customer service we can possibly deliver, and we talk a lot about making women feel good about themselves. There's a lot of pressure on women to feel a certain way, be a certain size, wear these skinny trousers, whatever. Obviously, we don't agree with that. We want you to be comfortable and feel good about yourself. So there is 100 clothing and makeup can be a bit of an armor, but we understand that, and I think that's an empowering thing. So certainly on my darkest days, I will always have put on my best dress and my lipstick. I mean, it doesn't mean anything to anyone, but it means something to me. And I know women feel like that, and we can help them. We help them in store with, oh my God, my arse is big or my tits big. This is how they talk to us. And we don't say it to them, obviously. And or I've got to breastfeed, or when I've had my dinner, I feel bloated. So what clothes can we have? We've got to find to fit your figure. And I think understanding women's self-image is really important. And then it just might make their day go a little bit better.
So this is well, I'm not sure about Lawrence, but definitely for me, this is an education, particularly when you use the word armor.
Yeah.
What is it about the word armor that's important here? Because it sounds like a very protective thing.
Oh, it is. Sometimes, when life's going to shit or something, and you can't cope at home, or things are happening. I mean, personally, it works for me, and I know it works for a lot of customers. That if you're presenting yourself to the world in a certain way, it just gives you that little bit of more bravery, and like, this is me. I'm good. I'm in control. You might not be, probably not inside, but this image helps. It helps me anyway.
Which I think leads on actually straight to the meat and potatoes of this conversation, is around this. I think, well, we were discussing before when we had a call, Emma, about the perceptions and pressures that women have to maybe look a certain way, be a certain way, and how that can, I don't know, push people down a certain path, or if they do go down a different path, feel judged or ashamed or just pointed out. I don't know. Is there anything that, what is about that you feel? Because I think this is something part of what you're really interested in terms of empowering.
Yes, I think there's a lot of expectation on women, especially, to be all singing and all dancing, be a great mom, run your own business, go down the gym, do all these things, look after your partner, care for them, family, friends. Women often take this caring role, which I certainly have in my family too, but there's no way. I don't believe about having it all. I just don't think that's actually possible. And still looking after yourself, again, something I've learned the hard way, because you can't. I mean, I certainly couldn't parent 3 children and run the business and do everything, ta-da, like this, because that's not real. It's just not real. So the various things that have helped me sort of deal with this is, firstly, I have these balls, I call them. So glass balls, plastic balls. Can't drop the glass balls. They've got to be picked up from school. This has got to happen. This has got to happen. And certain things in the business have got to happen. And those plastic balls, sometimes, well, life is not going to end if this happens. So I think there's ways of dealing with this. And I think women are way too hard on themselves. We really cannot do it all. It's just not possible. We do the best we can. We show up for our family. I think I always put the family up there, and then the business a close second. Be honest, no, boys first. But I think the most important thing is that we don't beat ourselves up, because, especially social media, it's all bullshit. We know that. And everyone has their awful days, their shit days, but we have good days too. And they're the days when you think, right, okay, I'm doing this well. And I think they're the ones to remember. And just do your best. That has always got me through, thinking, okay, I'm doing what I can. And my kids are still alive. They're at school. They might have had a bit of a shit dinner last night, but they're not gonna die from that.
So there's this maybe talks to a bit of the reason we use this title, and for those of you who are wondering, what is that title about? It's the way you say it. It's like boss like a mother, and mother like a boss. And the reason I like this title, because there's being a boss, like, you got your game face, Emma, and you told us about your game, and you know how to just make shit happen. Yeah. And you talked to me about your business and the people you work with, like, as a family.
Yeah, they are.
Want to look after them. And then there's this other aspect of, like, and at home, you need to also make sure shit gets done there.
Yeah,
and you need to be able to hold everything together. And so these two aspects to you. And as a boss, you got to lead, and you got to look like you know what you're doing, and shit can happen. And you talked about this idea of not hiding the struggle, and this balance between being able to lead well so people know what's going on, but also sometimes things can get really hard, and what do you do about that, or how do you express that? So I don't know, talking a bit to that idea of vulnerability and how you show that, and when you show that.
Well, I didn't for a very long time, Carlos. I just didn't show vulnerability because I thought I would break. Getting divorced 8 years ago was very stressful, and I still had a business to run, and I couldn't express myself. I wasn't ready. So how I present myself at work is we have a 9 o'clock meeting every morning, for example, and I always go into that meeting happy, smiley, lipstick on, high vibes as we call it in the business, and we have a plan for the day, and it's a good feeling. I would always show up like that. I will never go to that meeting, mood hoovering is what I call it, because the girls look to me to set the pace. I feel that's really important. But I have learned that I need to tell them when things aren't good, or I need to listen to them when they're not good. And I would do that more on a one-to-one basis. And I have found it really helpful that I've learned to listen way more. So when I'm listening to one of my team who are struggling, for example, they might tell me about something, and I will go at the end, okay, I hear you, and I understand. Yes, I've suffered with depression. Yes, I've suffered with burnout. I've suffered with various things. And they go, okay. And then they think, well, she does get it. And I think that's when to show vulnerability. I'm not going to do it in leading the meetings and stuff. I know you're quite good at that, Carlos, and I just haven't got to that stage yet. But that's how I run our team, because my team are customer facing, and we call it retail theatre in our store. You don't want to come and listen to our problems. You want to come and talk about the fashion of the dresses, and we give your dog some treats, or look after your baby for a minute. We're there to give you a lovely time. So it's about raising the mood within the store. And that's why I do it then, and pick my moments. Definitely.
Yeah, so there's this real clear intention about, well, for your customers, providing an experience.
Yeah.
Very clear about what that experience is. For your staff,
having
clarity, but also, like what you said, making sure that they feel heard.
Yeah, they do feel. I very much hope they feel heard. And if they're not having a great day, we have processes within the business where they don't have to be on the shop floor. So we do listen 100%. It's very important to me that they all feel valued and loved, and it's definitely a good place to work. And that has taken a long time to build that culture. A lot of love has gone into it. And the customers know, they see it. They say it all the time. Oh, God, it's so nice in here. I'm so happy. And it is genuine, Carlos.
I know this is something close to Lawrence's heart, about thinking about the experience. I don't know, Lawrence, if you wanted to share, your views on this as well in terms of what it means.
I'm always high vibes, me. It's what people say about me. No, it's interesting what you say, because I think for some people they might see that as, you're not bringing everything to the table, you're not being fully authentic because you might be having a bad morning, for example.
Yeah.
But I also wonder how much you end up helping yourself by stepping in. It's like an alter ego, it feels like, for a little bit, just to try and.
Yeah.
And I think for anyone who hosts anything, you have a role, right? To inspire others, to make other people feel welcome and safe. And like you said, they're coming there maybe to escape the day to day and find a bit of joy in their day.
We call ourselves joy givers. I know we're a commercial enterprise, but we do talk to our customers. We know their dogs' names and their babies' names, and where they're going on holiday. We know, well, my team know these things now, to be fair, and they're fantastic. And they've made friends through the store. This is important. It's an experience. So we have to. I think there's a time and a place for showing vulnerability in managing people, and certainly the women that are parents who work for me, they know that I know what that's the whole set of new challenges about, and I like to think I support them through babyhood and what have you.
Yeah. I also wonder whether there's something about helping others. Like, I think my parents used to run pubs, and I used to work behind the bar, and there's days where you just don't want to deal with people. Yeah. But then just by talking to them and they talk about their lives, I kind of get out of you get out of your own head by just
Oh, you do.
being the service kind of mindset. I'm guessing that must be true.
The service mindset is a whole different thing, Lawrence. From pubs, and also people want to talk to you. They want to feel good. They just want a nice interaction. That's not the place, I believe, to be too open. And it does lift you. You have something, and they're like, "Oh my God, I love this," and you think, "Made you happy."
There's something here. If we go a little in the businessy side of this conversation, about being really clear about who you're for and what you're there for.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have real clarity about who your customer is and what experience you want to give them.
Yeah, they all have names. They're different ages, has different names. So Linda is a certain age. This is how we reach Linda, how we look after Linda. Karen's another age. They all have their names, and we know exactly who they are and how we help them and how we get to them. Being focused on customers is the marketing is very crucial and specific to these categories. We've always been 100% customer focused, and without them, we're nothing, aren't we? We're nothing. And that still gives me the buzz when myself and Gemma, who does all the buying, we find a line or a product and we get excited about it, and then I see my sales fingers coming up on my screen. Oh my God, it's working. Linda's loving it. And that's it. Buzz still there. Bless Linda. I don't actually know who Linda is, but she's a good customer.
I'm curious, do you know people by the things they buy? Do you kind of, like, I think you're like people coming past, I'd be like, oh, you'd know him as Gin and Tonic rather than Tom.
Yeah, they have their names in the categories, 100%. Jem and I have a lot of fun making these up.
I'm curious how this has evolved from when you started to now, because there is, some kind of, you get business advice of like being able to create these avatars, these kind of archetypes, these people, so that you can, have some kind of objective view of them as if you're a team. But at the beginning, how was that for you? Because it sounded like pretty instinctive. And then how did that evolve? Because it can get quite structured if you let it. Yeah, no, it's gut instinct. I absolutely follow my gut on women. I am obsessed with fashion and interiors anyway, which helps, and women. Obsessed with women. That sounds a bit strange. I love women. Yes, it was gut at the beginning, a little bit more scientific now because it's a bigger business and, sales figures and analysis and profits and all that sort of thing. But it's still gut, and that's how my team work. They feed back all the information, what people talk to them. It's the same with Gemma. She's obsessed with it. It's a passion. It's a fun passion. It's not, as I said to you, we try lots of things. If they don't work, it's not A&E. It's just some products that don't sell. We love to try things and test things, and that's something that we all really enjoy as well, which is nice. So it has evolved, but it's still a lot of gut and understanding women. And how, because there's this aspect, it sounds like, driven by your own tastes and your own vision of what women want, and then there's having a team around you to support that. And the question I have around this is around how that culture, for want of a bad term, how that feel has developed over time, whether that influenced you in terms of who you want which kind of people you want to work with. Is that something, again, is that all gut driven for you, or is that formalized in a way?
And I have to say it's chipping away. Lawrence and I talked about that. You can't build a magical business in 6 months. It's a long process of learning. When I first started to manage people, I was probably really shit because I've got a high work ethic and I've got a lot of energy, and I didn't understand people that didn't work at the same pace as me. But of course, that's not realistic. So I've learnt how to manage people 100%, and that's grown, and investing in the team and listening to them. I think one point there, you said you buy for your taste. Absolutely, that's the wrong thing to do. You buy what your customer wants. 100%. So that's the thing I learned as well, Carlos. So yeah, growing the team, managing them has completely changed over the 23 years. I'm much more empathetic now. I do expect, a level of commitment and hard work, but I think when you invest in your team and care about them, they give it you anyway. 100% finding the right personalities. I don't care what experience you've got. I don't care if you've got any exams. You need to be a people person. You need to look me in the eye and smile and laugh and care about people. You need to be that outgoing personality. We train people very well in store, but it's that people person. We know. I mean, I'm lucky I don't do the interviews anymore because no, the girls do it now and they're fantastic. They just spot the eyes light up, the presence. That's what we're looking for. You need to make people feel special, but do it genuinely. There's nothing worse than fake sales. That's horrendous.
So there's something here about the importance of people.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering how that, and I might come back a little bit to that, because what that's got me onto is this idea of points in your business journey where there has been a big shift, like a tilt upwards. It's like, wow, no, not necessarily rocket ship growth, but there's a sudden step change. And are you able to talk to what those changes were and what you did differently, how you were different, or what happened in the business?
Well, there's been some huge changes. Recession, that was fun. Lost quite a lot there. Had to make a lot of people redundant. Had about 35 staff then because I'd grown the business quite sincerely. That was horrific, and I've learned a lot of financial lessons from then. And that was heartbreaking, making certain people redundant. Incidentally, I found one of them about 4 years ago and said, "Do you fancy coming back?" And she went, "Yes." So events like that, and she's one of the management team now. Events like that, obviously COVID, I think the biggest impact on the business was getting divorced. That was the key. That was the key game changer from making the business a good, okay business to a very profitable, successful business. Because after I collapsed, literally, I realised then the why was bigger than ever before. It was horrendous. But I knew I wanted to provide for the boys. I wanted to be that person for them that, if we needed things, I could do it. It was just financial security. My house was at risk. I was like, no, I haven't worked this hard for this. So that was the pivot. That was about 7 years ago. And that's the biggest impact. Then I changed everything from the ground up. It was about the business to make it better, leaner, way more successful, have more people come in. And thank goodness my team were with me. I remember being like this, going, guys, can you register, and all came out, and they were like, "We're with you. We're here. We're with you, Emma." And most of them from that meet are still with me. My management team, they've been here a long time. Gemma's 16 years, Ella, I think 8, 9. They've been there. They've been there through the lows, and they've been there through the highs, which was last year, best year ever. So, these things make you, when it's really shit, when it's good, you don't half cherish it. And those are the things that are quite moving to me now. I do stop and go, yeah, it's a lovely feeling. Hard one.
Yeah. Well, what I heard there was, at that point, some supreme focus. It's like, this is what I've got to focus on. I can't get distracted because I need to provide financial security. I need to look after the boys, and that's going to be done by growing this business.
Yeah.
Extremely. And so I assume then that helped you just filter out all the stuff that may have been distracting you before.
Yes, definitely. It gave me a kick up the arse, I'd say. I was sort of coasting at that point. But it was really lovely to find the fire in my belly, which I knew I'd had previously and sort of got lost, maybe in motherhood, maybe in a marriage, maybe. but it had gone, and that just lit it, and that's still there, and it's a lovely feeling. But with that, I found this amazing focus, laser focus. Not every day. There's let's sharing the struggle. There was some bad days. There was a lot of bad days, too much chocolate wine, whatever. They were there those days. I don't want people to get the wrong impression, because there was some horrific days, but the good days overlapped way more in the end. And the joy of something working, it's really powerful. And then, my team all getting behind it. It was like, right, we're going to do this. It was just such a beautiful experience. I'm very proud of it.
I'm curious a little bit about this. What I'm hearing was this initial beginning, kind of there's the fire, then it worked and it was working, and then what I heard there was just like the fire got lost for a bit.
Yeah, I did.
And then got refound during this quite painful time in your life. And just I don't know, is there anything around that dip in energy, the losing of that passion, that you can talk to? Because it seems like something that can happen. And you were talking about motherhood and being in marriage, and how that can affect. And I'm just wondering from a woman's perspective as well.
Yeah.
Just curious about that.
Yeah, no, of course. I think I became a little bit of a slave, a little bit of a martyr. I think women do that sometimes. Oh, I've got to do this. I've got to do the dishwasher, and I've got to do the washing. And I think I got a little bit lost in motherhood. I lost a bit of my identity, and I'm sure a lot of women would experience that too. 2 bouts of postnatal depression, which came out of nowhere and were horrific. So they just knock you a little bit. And I think I just lost my mum called it out, actually. She said, you lost Emma's spark. And I did lose it. And you think, oh gosh, but rekindling it, I'm like, oh, I can take on the world. I can do it. I've survived. And that's I think we feel like as women, sometimes we have to be everything to everybody, and it's just not possible. It's not possible. That's why I've said the whole mother guilt thing is a real crippler. I certainly did that with my first son, and I'm forever banging on to any new mothers or mothers with young children who I was one of them who fretted about a lot of stuff, and because it's out of our control. I have to say my eldest son is nearly 21, cannot remember anything that I used to worry about, not a single thing. He remembers holidays, he remembers his mum loved him, still loves him, unconditional love, and she was pretty much always there at the school gate at the end of the day, and that's what he remembers. He doesn't remember that I was, didn't have a big maternity leave, or he went to nursery. He doesn't remember any of those things. And I think once I'd got over this whole mother guilt thing, I realised that I'm a much better mum if I'm working. I'd be a terrible stay-at-home mum. I mean, God, I'd be depressed all the time, because I need things for me. And once I realised that I can go to work, and the joy of being an entrepreneur is having your own business, is you can call the shots. You can say, sports day sacrosanct, certain things, plays, I'm going to. Don't care what happens, that's what's happening. Boys first, always has been. Yeah, I've had to work really through the night sometimes, and get up at 5 a.m. and do shit, but that's how I've got through it. And then the guilt slowly transpires, especially when they're older, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm quite proud of you, mum. Yeah, good work, mum. And that is everything. I only have to look at my mother, who worked 6 days a week forever. I mean, no such thing as maternity leave. And all I ever thought that she was incredible, and we couldn't be closer now. And 81, still my bookkeeper. So I don't feel there's any lack of bond there, because I knew when I needed her, she'd be there. So the mother guilt, I just urge people to park it as much as possible.
Thank you. I think it kind of touches on the question that I just wanted to go a little bit into the questions now, because Claire had been asking how you manage the juggle between family pressures and work priorities. And so what I heard, part of it was, the guilt, and you talked about the balls, the glass balls and the plastic balls.
Yeah. I don't think anyone gets it right. I think that's what we have to say that. I think there's no one. I mean, I've made an enormous amount of mistakes, I feel, with my children. But I think just showing up, Claire, and doing your very best that's how I sort of see it. Luckily, I don't feel like my job is a job. I feel like it's just part of my life. It doesn't go away. And because I love it, I don't mind. But I think I know I have to suddenly, it's quite hard. I don't always do it. It's just park it and then be 100% present when the kids need to talk to me about stuff, or as their teenagers ignore me. But if they don't want to ignore me, then I'm there. So it's not easy, Claire. I would say that I've learned a lot of the way. I have to be super organised. And that is a skill why I like employing mothers as well, because you can run a family, you can be have great work ethic. Being a single mum really, really threw me. But once I got to grips with it, I was like, wow, if I can do this, I can do anything.
I think we lost Emma for a little bit. Is that me, or just is there?
No, yeah, she's frozen.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, just
well, hopefully she'll come back. But yes, this is
always had a cleaner when I can't afford one.
She's back.
Oh, she's back. Okay, we lost you for a little bit, Emma. Oh, and we lost her again. Definitely heard life hack: get a cleaner even if you can't afford one.
Yeah.
It kind of like, as a bit of filler, hopefully we get Emma back, was this one of these books that we've been popping up in our community, Who Not How, and at very sort of the level of that book is this idea of focus on the work that you can do best and then get other people to do the other stuff. And I think whether that's in a business or within life, it is about finding out where your zone of genius is, and then working with that, and then through that being able to create more impact and move the business forward faster. Yeah, I don't know if that came up for you as well when Emma was talking about actually how to be more organized and also work, do all the stuff even though you can't do all of the stuff.
Well, yeah, we talked about this quite a bit at Altitude. So the same authors of that book wrote the 10X book, right? So we talked about how, like Emma's talked about, how she almost 10X their business just in terms of mindset as much as revenue, and what that took. And yeah, there's definitely an element of letting go, I think, of trying to do it all, but also trusting in people, bringing in people you think can deliver on your vision, but trusting in them to do it their way and not trying to micromanage every situation.
Can you see me again?
We got you back.
So sorry, I don't know. The internet just died. Blame Virgin Media, shall we?
No worries.
This is the beauty and the joy and the jeopardy of doing things live.
I feel like it was so stressful. I was just got really hot there.
And the benefit of having.
One thing we did here is, even if you can't afford it, get a cleaner, and then we lost you.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I'm saying. Yeah, I remember meeting this fellow, and he said his wife couldn't focus on her business till everything was perfect in the home and the kids were done and all the jobs were done. And I would say, well, the only piece of advice I can go is just drop the things that really don't need to happen, especially when they're young. It's so chaotic. I think also if the laser focus on school hours, that's 6 hours is it at school? Amazing what you can do in 6 hours, and then drop those balls that don't really need doing. I think that's a really key takeaway. And then you get older and you get a bit more time.
One thing I'm hearing, though, I think might tie to Claire's question, is this idea of what's the cost of not pursuing the work that matters to you in terms of your own identity and energy and well-being? Because I think a lot of women particularly can feel like it's an indulgent thing to work, which is ridiculous, isn't it? That you're providing and you're tapping into your needs and your own purpose in life, not just ignoring your children. Oh, we lost Emma again.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
You're
got
back
a bit
now.
alien on us.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I here?
Yeah, you're here.
Oh, so sorry. I normally have an amazing Wi-Fi. Okay. Basically, I think we're humans. First of all, we're here. We're not here just to serve our families and serve our children. I don't believe that. I think it's really important that we remember who we are as people, because I don't want to be miserable and depressed when I'm home because I'm not doing my passion. I come home, if I've had a great day at work, I come home like, wow, yeah, this is great. Not always. But I think that is crucial. And also, as I was talking to Carlos, they're leaving home, in my world, empty nesting. And they're very conscious that mum's busy and okay. They know. I mean, my eldest son, I miss him awfully. But he he's busy, and he's just like, yeah, it's fine, mum's got her life, and that's important for them as well, and very important for us, because we shouldn't have to sacrifice our dreams and passions because we're a mum. My mum didn't, and she's amazing, and I think it just gives you joy, hopefully.
I wanted to touch on this question from Magda, and then I wanted to go into kind of this new stage, or this current stage you're at with work and life. So firstly, Magda was asking, let's see if you can answer this one. What are your core values, and how did they change throughout your life, if at all?
Okay. I think core values has to be kindness and empathy and understanding people. To be fair, that has developed. I feel like I've always been a compassionate person, but I think I've become less selfish and more understanding that people very differently. So I think empathy and kindness is something I hold huge attachments to. Okay, how do you define happiness? Oh, happiness. Okay. Happiness, I have to say, being a mother, if all 3 boys are in a good place, that really helps. I think being with, having security, I won't lie, after nearly losing everything, is important to me. That makes me feel fairly happy. But family, friends, enjoying what I do, my children, they're the things that made me happy. My relationship, being outside, that's the happiness. If everything's taken away at the end of the day, family in my house, that's all that matters to all of us, I believe. And I am happy. Thank you, Magda.
Awesome. I'm curious, has it taken your kids to sort of reflect back to you what you've achieved in terms of just giving yourself credit for what you've achieved?
Yeah. I think now they're older, they've sort of dawned on them that mum's done okay. And only yesterday, Carlos, I played the little clip that you did, going through difficult times and bouncing back. And I played it to my son, who's 17, and he went, whoa, I'm seeing you differently now, Mum. That's so cool. You're like these people I listen to on Instagram.
You're an influencer.
I'm like, thank you. Yeah, I think that's the key takeaway, that they are proud of me. Obviously, I drive them mad on their mother, but I hear them talk about me to their friends sometimes, and it's really nice feedback that they're actually proud of me now.
Oh,
makes me very happy and emotional.
You should say you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till your TikTok channel.
Oh my God, that's way too technical.
I'd like to kind of like finish off with where you are now and what's motivated you to. One of the things that I heard when we talked previously before coming to Altitude, you had an experience of COVID that kind of taught you something and has given you a shift in perspective. And I just wanted you to maybe just share a bit about that, and also how that relates to business as well, in terms of what you needed to do and what you can do now, and what that means in terms of what possibilities are open for you right now and the questions that come up.
Okay, so I've always been sporty, always been very fit. I've run a lot of marathons and ultra marathons, and that's my passion. probably about 30 marathons. Then I got COVID and think, oh, I'm pretty fit. This is going to be fine. It was okay. And then literally I just could barely walk down the road, and I had major problems breathing, heart problems. For 6 months, I was seriously I was able to work for about 2 hours a day, and then I had to lie down and literally, in order to make the kids dinner, it took everything away. For a whole year, I was half a person. That was tough, because you wouldn't have known that from my Instagram, because I was still trying to work on the business. It was last year. It's pretty horrendous. I'm on my way back now. I've got my energy back, but gosh, what a fright to your health. But I've had the all clear on my heart, which is the main thing. And I'm starting to run again slowly, but it's happening. But things it taught me. I was able to sit very quietly. So I learned about how the business really worked, and I was able to focus on that. So something was giving me joy. That was my team stepped up beyond belief, and I thought they're capable of so much more than they think they are. So I restructured all their jobs basically, and rewarded them for it, and now they're literally running the business. So maybe if that hadn't happened, it might not have happened so quickly, but it would have happened. And then the priority, what it made me realise, is your health is everything. Your family and your health are everything. Because I knew I was going to get better at some point, but I didn't know the effects it might have had on my heart, my lungs. I think once you realise that without your health, you're nothing, your gratitude, it literally blows up. And obviously, there's some people have horrendous things, they know they're not going to get better. So I did have that at the end of the tunnel, but I have been physically changed dramatically in these 2 years. And I think I have, on that subject, for example, one of my children, we had a life-threatening thing happen to him, and that is my point. These things are so awful that when you're dealing with day-to-day life in your business, that they're dealable, they're okay. The worst has happened. Hopefully the worst has happened. And that is the key to, I think, inner strength, is you can get through the dark times and hopefully come out the other end in a much more positive and better way. So yeah, long COVID is shit. It's really shit, and it's really real, and people think you're just tired, but you're not. It's a full body horrendous experience. But yeah, but I'm coming back.
So now you've you've got the team basically running the business.
Yep.
Your health is on the way up.
Yeah.
What does that now mean for you in terms of your purpose and what you want, what's pulling you forward?
Well, the problem is, Carlos, I want to do a million things. This has always been my problem. I have a million ideas, and I am trying to focus with a coach I've met through the Happy Startup Company, coach, to work out what my actual priorities are. Velvet is my number one passion, and she always will be. She's human as well, by the way. She is, so I'm really investing in the team, and I'm also gone back to uni to do a business course on how to grow businesses properly rather than maybe a bit of both organically. Property's fantastic, that's running along at the moment, but I can't do any more with that at the moment because of the hideous interest rates. I am keen to go on this new journey with myself and to share some of, hopefully, things I've learned, the good and the bad and the ugly. I hope to inspire a few people that we can do it, especially as women, mums. We can fucking do this shit. Try not to swear too much. I want to learn definitely a bit more about myself and what my dream passions are. So I'm doing a little bit of trying everything, and going to altitude was literally put the lights on. So thank you, guys. Same with summer camp. So I'm really loving the whole community. Super fan here. But I think that's really, really helped, and talking to people and listening to people, because I said to you, I was head down in my business for so long, just surviving, that this opening up and talking to other entrepreneurs in all different fields is amazing. So there's like a 5-page list of things I want to do. And And a lovely friend I met through here, Andrea, said to me, what is this new decade of, what is it? Do this decade with intention. And I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. Just need to work out the intention. So that's very exciting.
It feels to me you know your audience, I'm guessing, given your love of women. Unless you're going to pivot to men all of a sudden and surprise us.
Well, actually, one of my suppliers has offered me opportunity to open some men's shops, and I'm thinking, no. Women spend a lot more time shopping. So,
there's
yeah.
So you got a 5-page list of things that you could do. So it sounds a lot of possibility.
Yeah. Quite worked it all out.
Yeah. So I think there's, and we meet a lot of people at this stage. Whether we call it the midlife reset, but it isn't necessarily a number. It's a state of mind where actually there's a new set of possibilities that are open to me, but which ones to choose, and which ones to go for. I'd be curious, and I know you're still on the journey, you're still trying to work it out. Yeah. What's helping you right now? What are you know you're working with Sally Ann and she's coaching you, which is great. For you, how are you starting to kind of create some focus or create some filters for now? I'm sure this is a work in progress.
I have to be honest with you, Carlos, this is a massive work in progress, and I've really just sort of launching myself into it right now. And I think I'm going to have to drop some obstacles in order to be able to focus on looking at the bigger picture of Emma. And I think I've been discussing it. Poor boyfriend, he hears a lot of this, and he's very helpful actually, but it's trying to think, my problem is I just want to do everything, but that's obviously not possible. So I'm working again with Sally Ann, what gives me deep joy, deep satisfaction. It's a work in progress, Carlos. I'll tell you in a year.
And as someone who, as I experience you, can be 100 miles an hour, that requires slowing down.
Yes.
How is that as an experience for you now? And I know COVID probably taught you literally what that was.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why I got it. I sort of think some things often happen for a reason. It just stopped me. It didn't slow me down. It actually stopped me, which gave me a lot of time to think. So this is the difficult thing now. The energy's back. I've got to make sure I don't go bananas again. So I'm very conscious of looking after myself. Like every day I do something that's for my health. So I've suddenly become a yoga fan in the last year. I'm doing all these sort of things. These things are very important to me, that my health comes first. And then I can have outside space. But I am still a work in progress, 100% about being kinder to myself and relaxing. That's a work in progress. I won't lie.
Thank you. And so the last question then for me, is there anything you could tell yourself from 7 or even 10 years ago that would have maybe shifted or brought them to this place where you are now quicker? Or do you think it's only that they had to go through that in order to get to here?
Well, we all know that life lessons are what teaches you everything, and messing up teaches you. Failure is the gift sometimes. Doesn't seem it, but it is a gift because you learn. I wish I could have told myself to chill the fuck out a bit. I wish I could have said that, and I wish I could have said be really grateful for what you've got, and it's all going to be fine. But you can't do that. I think maybe look up and smell the roses, I think would be something. I think I told you I do. Last 5 years I've done a gratitude journal, which I always thought sounded well cheesy. It works. It's amazing. It's so amazing. Every morning I'm like, oh, this hurts, or that hurts, or oh, that's annoying, I've got to deal with that. I write down the amazing things in my life, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'm not in a war-torn country. I've got a roof over my head. I think that is a game changer. Little tip there, if anyone does it. And you can write down your shit stuff and get it off your chest. So that's another.
Boom.
Yes.
Wow. Everything will be okay.
Everything will be okay, yeah.
I'm looking forward to the 20 33 edition of Emma, like fully woo-wooed.
Oh, loved it. I've loved it.
Cool. If people want to get to know you, learn more about you, talk to you, have a coffee with you if they're based in Brighton, where would you like to point them? What's the best place to get you?
My Instagram page, I'm pretty active on there, or LinkedIn, but I think probably Instagram. I have my own Instagram as well as a shop one, so Velvet Hove and Emma Velvet Hove. Very snappy.
Emma Velvet Hove and Emma Velvet Hove on Instagram. So if you want to hear more from Emma, experience her energy more, and even reach out to talk to her, get onto Instagram and follow her there. Lawrence,
comments.
Lots of lovely comments. Oh, Georgina,
new bestie.
My new bestie. We met the other weekend at summer camp, and I love her face too.
Well, feel free to catch up on the recording, Georgina. As soon as this is finished, that'll be available. Lawrence, is there anything you'd like to say before we end?
Oh, that you're inspiring.
Oh,
it's just lovely seeing all the comments from. Well, I think particularly. I mean, like me and Carlos are, I guess, shooting blind with some of this in terms of women's role in business and at home, because we've only got our own experience of our partners, and we can't know what it's like. So to hear you talk about it so honestly, and to see so much connection with people on the call, I've learned a lot, put it that way, in terms of that feeling of just being kind to yourself. It sounds like just trying not to beat yourself up, because we come across this a lot with people in the community, and we get a lot of women, is that feeling of, I'm not enough and I'm never enough, and there's never enough time to do everything and keep everyone happy, and you come last.
But there isn't. I think small wins, Lawrence, I'd always take that. What small wins have I had today? We all have wins every day.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate your energy, and I also appreciate how while you have done so much in your professional life, you're now exploring and embracing something completely different. You've shown and you shared with us how uncomfortable some of this kind of new way of being and looking was at altitude.
I remember the hands, do the hands.
That's when I've been trying to be vulnerable. I'm like, Jesus, this is out of my comfort zone. As Lawrence learned.
Yeah. But we're also incredibly grateful for your trust in us and what we do. And also, I think it's a great. It's one of the not enough stories like this, I think, appear in our community, and we'd love to be able to hear more about what it's like, because it isn't just, I think, a story for female entrepreneurs. I think it's for anyone who feels like they need to get everything right at the same time, and how we need to give ourselves a bit of a break. And I think if you're an A-type, ambitious person, that could get in your way.
100%.
And everyone needs that Emma spark. You talked about that, rediscovering your spark. Feels like maybe that's the name of your program stroke Instagram.
Emma Spark.
Emma Spark. We all need a bit of that.
Emma Spark. Well, thank you guys. I've loved it, and thank you for all the stuff I've learned from you both this year and going forward.
The feeling is mutual. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time, your ears, and your lovely words in the chat. Until next time.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks, Emma. See you later.
Bye. Bye.